Thank you very much for inviting us. We are very delighted to be part of this IADA conference. My name is Nicole Schmidt. I'm an exhibition registrar at the Deutsches Historisches Museum, the German Historical Museum in Berlin, Germany.
My name is Barbara Korbel. I'm paper conservator at German Historical Museum. We would like to hold our speech about installations go virtual, the good and the bad. As with all museums worldwide, the pandemic situation around COVID had us facing many new challenges in the context of exhibitions. Despite the exceptional situation, exhibitions had to be deinstalled on time and objects returned to the lending institutions. National and international travel restrictions in the countries of our lenders were different, so we had to find unique solutions for courier trips and transport. As a conservator and a registrar at German Historical Museum in Berlin, we would like to share our experiences during the installation and deinstallation of international exhibitions over the last 2 years. Before the loan can go ahead, the lender must decide if an object needs couriering. Also, the decision has to be made if a courier is needed for all stages of the journey. Can the object travel alone with a shipping company or not? Does the courier need to be present at unpacking? The condition check with the in-house conservator of the borrowing institution is the most important part. Will the courier stay for framing, mounting, the installation? All these questions need to be answered in advance. The options for virtual couriering are the same. Is the virtual transport couriering necessary? Is the virtual unpacking couriering necessary? The virtual condition check is the most important part and very often the virtual installation couriering. Another option is a photo documentation of all steps after the installation.
For virtual couriering, the requirements must be discussed in advance. This includes the exact agreements between the lender and the borrower about the procedure and the requirements of both institutions. There are many video conferencing programs on the market, some of which are not allowed in the institutions for security reasons. This must be clarified in advance. Another mandatory requirement for virtual couriering is Wi-Fi coverage in the areas where installation or dismantling, condition reporting, or packing takes place. Some lenders may wish to record the video session, which must be clarified in advance with all parties involved. For the best outcomes, basic technical mobile equipment is necessary. This includes a tablet, smartphone, or PC with a good camera. When selecting the end devices, consider their use. They should not be heavy and unwieldy, so the end device can be held securely over the entire period. Holders or a tripod for the devices are a good idea. It is recommended to have the technical devices in duplicate, as sometimes there is a request to capture detailed and wide-angle views at the same time. Check the charging status of the mobile devices and have mobile charging batteries available if necessary. Planning of a live virtual couriering session requires more precision than planning an on-site courier supervision. When planning, scheduling is important for each of the stages: unpacking, condition checking, and installation. In particular, installation may need to be carefully scheduled due to the preparatory work, which may involve several conservators as well as multiple objects being accompanied by a single courier. One, or ideally two, people need to be dedicated to moderating the filming of photograph. These are in addition to the conservator museum technicians and those who document the arrival. As always, it is recommended to already have a detailed condition report and supporting photos available. Very good knowledge of the condition of the object of the on the lender's side is beneficial. If the lender is not familiar with the video conferencing program, make a test video call in advance to minimize technical problems during the actual couriering. Instead of a live video stream, photos may be sufficient for the virtual transport couriering. These photos can be shared via messenger service. Make sure the environment is free of background noises during the time of the virtual couriering. This may mean pausing other work during the installation, which can impact planning and scheduling. One person should undertake the communication, the moderation, and the camera. It's not best practice to call on this person to assist with object handling. Explain the specific steps and procedure. For example, you can pause after unpacking for the duration of condition checking or installation preparation. All parties should be introduced at the beginning and rules should be clear. As the moderator, every step must be communicated and the virtual courier must be involved in decision-making processes. Notify the courier if there is a change in the camera work. Be sure to include the environment when documenting the unpacking on the camera. During condition check, you may have to get close to the object. Looking through the lens or iPad restricts your view to pay attention to your surroundings. While the object is being moved, the moderator follows it with the camera. After the installation is finished, the moderator may have to send a photo documentation and a scan of the new updated condition report to the lender to complete the condition check. The photos condition report need to be saved for documentation purpose.
Virtual couriering has allowed loans and exhibitions to continue at a time when many museums have cancelled exhibitions. Not having couriers is more sustainable and means less flights, less CO2 emissions, and so a small carbon footprint. Many of us are now used to and more comfortable with virtual couriering, so we have a new couriering tool. Another advantage is cost reductions. No costly couriers with flights, hotels, and per diems. But are we really saving costs? At the exhibition venue, more people are required. For example, in addition to the on-site courier and conservator to undertake the condition check, for virtual couriering, you also need 1 or 2 people to film or photograph. The time planning is different. It is a slower process. The registrar may not be able to unpack other incoming objects. The time of each additional staff member is a cost. Very often, other installations in the exhibition have to stop because of background noises, or the whole team is needed entirely to document one virtual couriered object. The planning needs to be much more precise and therefore you are less flexible. Very often, you need an extended amount of time. Documenting the condition check of an object is not always easy or adequate. Even if you are very close to the object, there is sometimes room for misinterpretation. You are very dependent on technical quality of cameras, tablets. The courier cannot make sensory observations about environmental conditions at the venue. You cannot sense if it is too dry or damp, or if the climate changes on the way from storage area to exhibition venue. Personal courier mounting is impossible. Very often there's additional work after the couriering, sending condition reports, photo documentation. In our experience, in the past, some institutions did not want to send couriers, but now, with virtual couriering, they have this option. The result is that the demand for couriering at the installation or dismantling stages is higher than before. Insurance issues are not resolved. Signing condition reports in person is legally binding. Virtual couriering has not been tested on this point. Most important is the confidence between institutions, that you can trust your partners without being present. The responsibility of the conservator of the borrowing institution seems to be even higher, because he has to see the object from the point of view of the courier. Therefore, it is very important that the courier of the lending institution has a precise knowledge of the object. Cooperation between conservator and registrar is important so that you can rely on one another. Some working processes are not possible virtually or limited. For example, personal mounting by a courier. For the most of us, this is a very new way of couriering, and we have gained new knowledge, new processes and competences. And last but not least, now we have more alternatives for couriering. We would like to thank all institutions and virtual couriers for their confidence in our work over the last 2 years, and we would like to thank you all for your attention.